This is pretty unusual. We have no idea where it came from.
Zipped up and thrown away. What Ohio police found in the middle of a field, and the investigation underway this morning.
Is the supply enough for the demand? Questions are rising about the streetcar as Oktoberfest approaches.
And changing plans for a controversial local pipeline. Hear what neighbors have to say about Duke Energy's new route and design.
And good morning, everyone. We're going to get to all of your top stories coming up here just shortly.
Feels fantastic outside.
Yeah, but maybe just a slight, tiny little chance of rain. Right? It did.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I thought.
No rain this morning. Maybe a little fog in some spots. Otherwise, it's clear right now. 60 degrees at the airport. Humidity at 96%. And the winds are on the calm side. Start down in the 50s and low 60s. 57 Hamilton, 59 Georgetown, and Patriot and Dillsboro check in at 60 degrees. Nothing on radar around here. But there's a weak front coming into central Indiana. This is going to provide a focus for a couple little hit or miss showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Some showers now in Illinois working into northern Indiana. Those won't impact us. So we start out with some sun, maybe a little fog in the valley. 67 at 9, by 11, 77. Low 80s at 1. Will be a little bit warmer today than yesterday, up to around 85 degrees. And anytime from 3 o'clock on into the evening, there's a chance for a hit or miss shower or thunderstorm, although the coverage on this is going to be quite limited. Better rain chances arrive for the weekend. We'll have the timing on some of that rain coming up. But right now, Jen's here taking a look at the roads.
Yeah, and we look pretty good out there. As far as accidents, we are accident free at this time. We're looking good as far as travel speeds as well, 62, 65, 55 miles an hour. Now, as we look at 71 on my way in, about maybe 20 minutes ago, 71 southbound actually had a temporary shutdown going into the Lytle Tunnel. They're going to be doing that in the overnight hours as they continue to do work, but it looks like traffic now is still moving through, although there are flashing lights still heading towards that tunnel, but at least the interstate is now open. And then 275 up near Mosteller, we also had a lane closed because of construction. Looks like maybe that is almost out of the way as well, and traffic seems to be moving through there. Okay, so as we look at your drive time, 16 minutes to go from Sharon to downtown on 75, just 5 minutes to go between 275 and downtown on 471, and 18 minutes to get from Pfeiffer to downtown on 71, guys. All
right, Jen, thank you. Well, this is just an unusual story. Police in northern Ohio are trying to solve a mystery and figure out why a heart was left in a Ziploc bag in the middle of a field.
They think it's a human heart, but they have no idea how it got there or who it belongs to. An EMS crew found the heart at a gas station in Norwalk. That's an hour west of Cleveland. Police say the heart was in good condition and had only just started to decompose. There's no indication that it was part of a violent crime.
I talked to the Lucas County coroner, and she seemed to think that it hadn't been in that field very long, and it could have possibly been frozen prior to that.
Paramedic who discovered the heart actually threw it away, but then later retrieved it for an investigation. Now the coroner's testing it for preservatives, and a veterinarian is helping out too to rule out whether the heart came from an animal.
A 4-year-old girl remains hospitalized this morning after nearly drowning in a local pool. Emergency crews were called to Deer Valley in Liberty Township just before 5 last night. Police say the child was underwater for 1 or 2 minutes before she was found. She wasn't breathing. Her great aunt began to perform CPR with instructions relayed from the dispatcher. By the time the medics arrived on the scene, the girl was crying and she was breathing. She was rushed to Children's Hospital. No word on her condition this morning.
Well, Oktoberfest is this weekend. That means hundreds of thousands of people will be in downtown Cincinnati for the festivities. But the odds of you catching the streetcar to get to the banks may be slim due to its instant popularity. Local 12's Adam Clemens joins us now with a potential solution that is being discussed between SORTA and city officials. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, John. Yeah, well, as many of you know, in case you didn't know, Oktoberfest has moved. It's not going to be on Fountain Square. It's going to be here near the banks, where 2nd and 3rd are going to be closed between Walnut and Elm, and it's all to accommodate right here, the streetcar. But will the streetcar be able to accommodate the crowds? Now, as is the case with just about everything, this one's going to come down to the almighty dollar, a classic case of supply and demand. Now, the issue, a whole lot of people, not enough streetcars. If you paid any attention to how the brand new Cincinnati Bell Connector did over the weekend for the free preview, you know it was an instant success. More than 50,000 people took a spin through Over the Rhine in downtown. But with such a big weekend ahead of us, there are concerns that the new form of public transit will simply not have the resources to accommodate the crowd. Now, only 2 streetcars are contracted to run this weekend. The city would like to up that number to 5, but sorta says that, well, it's a possibility, but only if the city pays up to the tune of $20,000. That's how much it will cost to get 3 extra streetcars running. So essentially, the ball is in the city's court. No word yet on when the city might decide if they will be ponying up before Oktoberfest begins, and it's right around the corner. The festivities start on Friday afternoon. Reporting live downtown, Adam Clements, Local 12 News. John, back to you.
All right, Adam, thank you for that. We will, of course, continue to follow this, and we'll bring you any new developments if and when the city is able to reach some sort of deal with SORTA.
5:04 now. Duke Energy is changing its plans for a natural gas pipeline that could run through parts of the tri-state. After getting community feedback, the company's now proposing a smaller pipeline that would use less pressure. The new plans call for a 20-inch diameter pipeline. That's 10 inches smaller than the previous model. But the new plans would be the longest and most expensive route. The line would run through Blue Ash, and some neighbors there still aren't pleased.
I don't want to say this is a victory because we don't know what the 20-inch 400 PSI actually means, and that's something that really needs to be looked into.
High-pressure pipelines of this magnitude do not belong in densely populated areas.
Duke Energy's plans will also allow the company to shut down its older propane plants.
A local fire chief is resigning amid a prostitution scandal, but he'll still work for the fire department. Sharonville's chief, Ralph Hammonds, admitted to paying a woman for sex, but the city is keeping him on the payroll for the next 2.5 years as a fire consultant. He'll be paid using his unpaid leave from his last 26 years of service to the city.
In order to recognize the involvement that he's had with this city for 26 plus years, but also to accept the fact that what he did was not something we could have him continue as the face of Sharonville, as our fire chief.
Hammonds was never charged. Instead, he was told not to have any contact with the woman. Assistant Chief John Mackey will take over as interim fire chief.
Mount Healthy High School will be back to normal this morning after it was locked down when a student brought a gun to school. Now, that student's father actually notified the school excuse me, after he noticed that someone had broken into his car and took the gun and a tablet. The father suspected it could be his son, and officers did indeed find a gun in that student's locker. He was escorted out of the school in handcuffs. The teenager, now charged with a felony, and is being held at the Juvenile Detention Center. Feels like Christmas at UC's College of Law. A record $15 million gift will help the college increase recruitment and also help the work of the Ohio Innocence Project. That donation comes from local philanthropist Richard Rosenthal. The Ohio Innocence Project has helped free 24 people over 13 years. For the second time in less than 2 months, there's a new baby giraffe at the zoo. After 2 hours of labor, Jambo delivered a calf yesterday morning. The mother stood all night so that her baby could nurse. Aww. Veterinarians will examine the new zoo baby today, and if all is well, the female and the babies could be outside in just a matter of a few days. This is the 15th giraffe born in Cincinnati.
I was going to say.
That's really neat.
Yeah. That's
Wait, I didn't realize they were expecting another one.
Yeah, I think we reported on that.
Didn't we?
Or maybe I
should really pay better attention to the things we report.
You know what? I was at the zoo. Maybe I learned it when I was at the zoo with my kids. Who knows?
Like,
my
really?
memory, I did remember that it was happening. I just don't remember how I knew.
That sounds like the story of my life.
Exactly.
Kind of remember something, but I don't remember where.
Exactly what it was.
5:07 now. An Apple Store's phone is ringing off the hook, but they cannot fix your computer or tablet. We'll explain coming up.
He gets back in, opens up the back window, and says, "You've got a flat tire."
Hitching a ride in all white. Who came to the rescue after a bride almost missed her big day? It's like out of Smokey and the Bandit. We got that coming up on Good Morning Cincinnati.